Greetings, boys and ghouls. Tune in every week this October as Flavorcast celebrates Halloween.
Someone there?
It's me, Boo Berry, with my ghostly good cereal, Boo Berry.
Boo Berry, 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 Boo Berry. Flavorcast.
Welcome, Flavorcast, Flavorheads. This is Flavorcast. I'm Jesse.
And I'm Adam.
Today, we're continuing our Halloween Spooktacular. So we're past the halfway point right now. We've gone a couple. There's been Halloween developments happening. We don't have time to get around to all of them, or necessarily an interest in all of them. But we thought we should tell you about what's happening. Have you noticed any of these Halloween products on the shelves popping up?
A little bit, but first I want to say there will be no more Harvest episodes.
No more Harvest.
That was just a blip in this system.
I've seen the light, and I realized that Harvest is a mistake.
So, yeah, I went to Starbucks and, 7-Eleven.
Mm-hmm.
You told me about a Starbucks product, but I went to 7-Eleven and asked if there were any Halloween products, and they didn't know what I was talking about.
Yeah, they're like, Halloween? What? Are you crazy?
It's like, that's...
I've been getting that too.
Oh yeah, and then we tweeted at Slurpee, and like they responded with, product availability is subject to location. Please contact your local 7-Eleven to see if blah blah blah. Like it wasn't like
I said, do you have any Halloween Slurpee flavors this year? It's a yes or no question.
It wasn't like, oh yeah, we got a great thing.
And they do have a Halloween Slurpee coming out.
Yeah,
I haven't seen it yet. It's Sour Patch Zombie flavored, which is just orange and grape.
That sounds great.
Sour Patch orange and grape. Yeah, I've been checking 7-Eleven. I have not seen it yet.
Yeah. So
I've seen Captain Crunch still, believe it or not. Captain Crunch that came out like in June, I think. They're still serving it up.
that was a good episode.
That was a great episode. Go back and listen to it if you haven't yet. I've seen no Halloween Sour Patch Slurpee yet. And you mentioned the Starbucks thing. Starbucks, from October 25th until Halloween, will be serving I don't know the name of the Frappuccino. But it's based on the musical Wicked, of all things.
I cried the whole time.
And it's a pretty good musical, but it's old. Why are they doing it now? It's a green It's a pumpkin Frappuccino with green food coloring, and we're not going to be covering that because...
No, it's lame. I love Wicked. I'm a Wicked head, or whatever they call people who like Wicked.
But pumpkin Frappuccino, pumpkin spice is not a Halloween flavor.
Yawn.
Let's stop pretending Halloween has pumpkins in it. Why can't pumpkin spice be a Halloween flavor? Well, pumpkin spice is not pumpkin. It's the spice that's put into pumpkin pie.
Oh,
That's the flavor, right?
I didn't know that.
I think so. Is pumpkin spice describing the spice applied to the pumpkin, or is it like mint chip, where it's not mint flavored chips, it's mint with chips, right? Is it pumpkin with spice, or is it... we don't know.
We don't know. If you know, let us know.
I think it varies. I think pumpkin, just plain pumpkin, could be a Halloween flavor, but you never see pumpkin flavor. So is this... Anyway, we'll get into that in November. Sour Patch Kids flavored candy corn.
Yeah, we were thinking about trying that. It sounds good.
We covered candy corn in a whole episode devoted to candy corn, though.
The product didn't turn out to be candy corn.
It is candy corn, but it's not candy corn flavored candy corn. It's Sour Patch flavored candy corn.
No, I'm saying the episode we did.
Oh, right.
The product didn't even really resemble candy corn.
No, it was candy corn flavored popcorn. And it didn't taste like candy corn. But we spent so much time talking about candy corn in that episode that it's a done deal. No more candy corn.
We did a candy corn
content.
episode.
Yeah, and the product did not live up to the hopes and dreams of candy corn. It didn't live up to the candy corn name.
So are there any other flavors that people might be able to try before the season's over?
Yeah, there was that news report about the local ice cream. If you live in one of these West Coast elite urban centers, you can go to like Seattle or Portland or Los Angeles or San Francisco. You can go to Salt and Straw and try their foodie pig's blood ice cream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's blood pudding.
Yeah, it's blood pudding and chicken liver, and I read that it's if you type Halloween flavor into news searches, it comes up a lot. This ice cream, it was too foodie, too pretentious for me, and I think we want our products to be available to people everywhere, and not just for the people who live near a local artisan.
It's also pretty gross.
It's gross. I mean, I like gross, but it's pretentious and gross. I can't handle that combination. All right, so
yeah, today,
I got Boo Berry cereal. Now, it's for those of you who don't know what Boo Berry is. It goes Count Chocula, Frankenberry, and Boo Berry. Frankenberry is strawberry, Count Chocula is chocolate, and Boo Berry is blueberry.
And blueberry is actually a pretty uncommon flavor.
It is, and it's definitely not a Halloween flavor. But I would posit that because Boo Berry is blueberry flavor, but it's really just blueberry flavor. The same way that crunch berries aren't. You don't eat it and think, ooh, berries. You think, crunch berries, right?
Right.
It's kind of its own flavor, and it's only available on Halloween. Ever since 2010, it's only been available on Halloween. But before that, it was technically available year-round, but you could never actually find it anywhere year-round. People had to go all over the place and just drive like... One woman, they interviewed her on The Daily Show, said she drove 2,600 miles to get some Boo Berry.
Wow.
It's considered the rarest of cereals.
It was.
It was, until it started coming out every Halloween, which was in 2003. So, that I remember that year, 2003. That was the year I first met you, actually.
Yeah, it's freshman year in college.
Right.
Yeah.
I think my earliest, I don't know exactly when we met, but I remember my earliest memory that I can remember is when we took a horror movie class together.
Yeah, it was a lit class about horror movies.
It was it's short for literature.
I'm sorry.
It was also lit.
It was lit.
It was
lit. It was a lit class about horror films, and then they tied each horror film into a piece of literature, or
right.
a trend in literature. You don't remember that?
Yeah.
The zombie one was all about like communism and.
Yeah, I remember. I just don't remember there being any actual literature in the class. I think we just watched horror movies and here's how you talk. A lot of these classes are just like how to talk about stuff and sound smart, and it's like, well, what stuff do you want to talk about? That depends. There's a class for whatever. We got one for horror movies. We got one for. They didn't have one for flavors, but
yeah. Does your college have like a flavor? I'm to the listener. Does your college have a flavor
course?
A course,
like a course on flavors.
Yeah, but not like scientific, but like maybe
cultural,
cultural studies, humanities flavor course.
Does the Department of Humanities offer a course on flavor studies?
We'd love to hear about that because that sounds way cooler than like Star Wars studies or whatever.
Is that a thing now, man?
Oh yeah, there's plenty of college courses in Star Wars.
Wow, that's awful. It's like those books they have at Barnes and Noble, like The Philosophy of the Matrix. It's like, okay, I'll give you that one. Like, there is no spoon. That's something to think about. But then they're like, The Philosophy of the Sopranos. They're like, Tony Soprano's behavior is consistent with Immanuel Kant's view of,
Okay, I'm going to say, though, there is a spoon.
There is a spoon.
Because we're about to try some cereal.
But there is a spoon, there is a cereal. So I want to get back into 2003.
Okay.
My earliest memory of you is...
the horror movie class.
The horror movie class, specifically walking... I think we walked back together at night from a viewing of that movie Audition.
Oh my god.
I didn't like that movie. It was a downer.
Mixed feelings on my part.
I think horror movies should be fun. Like Freddy Krueger would be like, hey, when he shoots his tongue out and it wraps around the kid and he can't move, he's like, "What's the matter? Tongue tied?" Like that's what I want from a horror movie.
This is a great genre. I do like all types of horror movies except for torture porn. I think is just bad.
Which is kind of what we watched.
Well,
the end was torture porn.
yeah. I mean, there was a little bit more to it than that. It wasn't like a Saw film, but
It wasn't Saw.
not family friendly. Not for the
family.
kids to watch. This is a family show, and yeah, don't let your kids watch that movie. Absolutely.
So
You can watch it but it's torture-y.
yeah.
And so, and then actually my first memory of you was before that. I met you walking to the dining hall, and I remember it because you were wearing sunglasses at night.
Right. Yeah, I used to do that.
Yeah.
Because I thought it made me cool.
Well, I mean, it made an impression.
Made an impression, yeah. I didn't. So that was 2003. I spent a lot of time alone in my room because I didn't really know that many people in the beginning, and just like in high school, I also spent a lot of time alone in my room, and I'd go on a website called imockery.com, which was all about horror movies and toys and video games and funky cereal. The whole kitschy kind of fun lifestyle. It was like a companion to me when I spent all this time alone in my room watching horror movies in high school and eating junky food. iMockery was kind of like having a friend doing it with me. It didn't feel like I was just holed up alone. And it was also aspirational. And I mean, I would see these cool toys that they'd have, like, man, I could have that. Or like, oh man, they'd like have cool horror movies that they'd be reviewing. And like, I'm going to rent that and watch it, And Boo Berry was a cereal that imockery.com is the also host of the Unofficial Boo Berry fan page, the creator of the website, Roger. He's been interviewed on The Daily Show about Boo Berry, on Unwrapped on Food Network, and on some other reality. He's been on a lot of... He's probably the world's most famous Boo Berry fan. And I would see him write all this stuff about Boo Berry and be like, why can't I get Boo Berry, And then in 2003, it hit shelves like nationwide for the first time. Every Target, every Walmart had Boo Berry and Frankenberry and Chocula all on the shelves together. They say Boo Berry was the hard one to find, but Frankenberry, I never saw that before either. That was hard to find too. So I had all three of those cereals, and I was eating them, and I was like eating them, the Boo Berry cereal for the first time. I think like while looking at pictures of it on the website, being like, now I'm part of the club,
That's cool. I mean, they also had people like come right in too. There was a community vibe. It wasn't just the one guy.
Totally, because before 2000, on The Daily Show, they interviewed the woman who drove 2,600 miles. They had there's a huge following of people, because it was so hard to find. I think that's what got people worked up. Before 2003, it was almost impossible to find, because it wasn't a Halloween thing yet.
So I've never had Boo Berry.
You've never had Boo Berry, and just like while in 2003, kind of before we knew each other, I was alone in my room and eating Boo Berry, and I'm like, I'm joining the club, So now you'll get to join the club and kind of go back in time with me to that time, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we are your Boo Berry friends for the day.
Boo Berry friends,
for the next 20 minutes?
Yeah.
Maybe?
Yeah.
Maybe longer.
And just a thank you to iMockery and to Roger for really raising awareness around this, and for, not just Boo Berry, but all the cool, obscure horror films. And so I'm opening it up right now to take a look at it.
It's beautiful.
It's a little... I wish it was more... You're not allowed to criticize Boo Berry because it's been around so long. It's like, well, You can't, but I wish it was more blue, actually. It's kind of like a dark purple.
I kind of like the dark purple. It's more creepy.
Yeah, that's true. Frankenberry is like neon pink. Like, it's so colorful next to Boo Berry. In fact, Frankenberry kind of got in trouble with their food coloring when they first came out. You ever hear about this?
No.
When Frankenberry was first made, they used a number of red that they don't use anymore. And this red was non-digestible. So, a lot of kids thought a lot of parents thought their children were bleeding internally and rushed them to the hospital, and now medical textbooks have under F, there's an entry called Frankenberry stool.
Sounds like it was a trick and a treat.
Yeah. So, it's the only cereal term that exists in medical terminology. So that's a landmark right there.
That's beautiful.
We gotta do our box analysis before we open this.
So the box, how would you say the character compares to previous Boo Berry character designs?
This year the box is really ugly. I gotta say.
Yeah.
They're like basically 3 Boo Berries as far as I can tell. Well, I mean, I haven't been paying attention in the last few years, but there was like the original Boo Berry in the 70s, which is kind of had like a sleepy. I guess he always had like the sleepy lowered eyelids, but he kind of had a funny face. The 70s art, and in 2000, we mentioned this in our first Halloween episode, how 2013 was the most amazing year for Halloween flavors ever, because that was the year that they released Boo Berry, Frankenberry, Count Chocula, but also the discontinued Yummy Mummy and Fruit Brute cereals. And not only that, but Target released them with their original 70s packaging, which was amazing.
I like that.
It was 2013, I'll say it again, best year for Halloween flavors, period. So then they had the 90s Boo Berry, which was like, in the 90s, all the cereal mascots got like really
extreme.
Not extreme. They got very unextreme. They had he went from looking kind of like 70s to like this. In the 90s, everything had this kind of like marshmallowy, like really rounded edges, like a lot of shading.
It's almost hard to look at, honestly.
It's almost hard to. Then they were all like that. Captain Crunch was like that.
We'll post some pictures on the Twitter. We'll
definitely post some pictures on I like the 90s Boo Berry the best, because that was the hardest to find Boo Berry. It was the most rare. And then in 2003 and 2004, in the first years of Halloween Boo Berry promotions, they still used the 90s design.
Yeah.
2003 was amazing because they had a box, and we'll post a picture of this, with Boo Berry peeking out. You could just see his little eye and his little fingers, and then you fold it back, and it was like a, what do you call those kinds of covers? It had like a fold-out tab.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Open the box, and then inside it's Boo Berry and Frankenberry and Count Chocula, and they're all like, "Boo, we're hiding inside the box." It was cool. And then at one point, one year they had famous comic book artists draw the monsters.
That's cool.
I think this is J. Scott Campbell who did Boo Berry. I know he did one of them. I'll have to look into that.
Well, I have to say, my wife and I have noticed a significant decline in character design on the packages of cereal boxes, and also even some chips. And it seems like they're all kind of going for the same thing. I mean, I guess there's always trends in design, but I mean the new Lucky the Leprechaun looks terrible.
I've heard that.
Yeah,
I haven't actually been paying attention, so I need to look into this.
Yeah, one of our pastimes is we go into supermarkets and criticize box art on cereals, specifically character design.
Didn't they try to make him more like his original retro design?
Well, it's not working.
It's not working. Do you prefer like the 90s kind of like overly worked, overly shaded, like really like weird globby? Because I don't know. I mean, that's the Lucky we grew up with, so I'm nostalgic for that.
Yeah, I think so.
I love the globby 90s cereal characters.
But let's get into the ingredients.
Yeah.
Because none of you can see any of this.
And you know what it is? Before you get into the ingredients, I just gotta say, what makes this box Boo Berry so much uglier than the rest is that they gave them teeth. That really bothers me. Boo Berry is not supposed to have teeth, period. I think all Boo fans will... Well, I guess he's had teeth in the previous years, but...
Well, maybe when he died and went to heaven, he found a set of teeth waiting for him in heaven.
Right. Call back to the Harvest episode.
Okay.
That was a good one.
So I don't think this is going to be very unusual. So we got whole grain corn, cornmeal, sugar, marshmallows, which is sugar, dextrose, modified cornstarch, corn syrup, gelatin, malic acid, natural and artificial flavor, citric acid, red 40, blue 1 and 2. Corn syrup, canola oil, salt, trisodium phosphate, red 40, natural and artificial flavor, blue 1. Produced with genetic engineering.
You know what it says?
Yep.
Man, they must have passed a law or something. I thought they shot that law down, the GMO disclosure law. Did they repass it or something?
I don't know.
Remember, at least in California, they had that measure, which would force companies to say whether or not they use genetic engineering, and people voted against it, surprisingly.
Yeah, I mean...
They're like, we don't want to know.
So on the back it says, everyone's invited to the Monsters Bash. I assume that's similar to a Monster Mash.
Monster Bash I think Monster Mash is copyrighted, so Monster Bash is actually the more common term. I've seen it in more places than I have seen Monster Mash.
Interesting.
It must be copyrighted.
I mean, it also makes more sense.
Yeah. The back of the box is hideous. Talk about ugly art.
Oh, it's way worse. It's just terrible.
Look at, it's got all the General Mills characters, and even the Pillsbury Doughboy for some awful reason. Doughboy looks off. What's Doughboy doing there? He's not a cereal.
Yeah, that's weird.
It's ugly.
Okay.
The cereal, though, you know, some people Monster cereal purists have complained that they changed the recipe. It used to be oats and corn flour, and now it's just corn flour.
What? Oh, yeah.
Me, I don't care. I feel like there also used to be more marshmallows. They're really...
Yeah, but everybody always feels like every cereal with marshmallows used to have more marshmallows.
Yeah, go ahead and dig in there to get more marshmallows, because you need to get at least 2 in every bite.
Hey, you don't have to tell me.
Yeah. It's an unusually skimpy amount of marshmallows this year. I think they're cutting corners to save costs.
I mean, who doesn't take out all the marshmallows from a marshmallow cereal? Or not take out all of them, but take out more each serving so that
Cherry pick.
The end there's no more marshmallows.
You gotta cherry pick, you know. I don't know. I mean, in the end, there should always be marshmallows. At least a marshmallow dust.
You got a berry pick.
In this case, berry pick. Fruit Boot was...
Alright, I'll try it without the...
Now, in my experience, cereal flavors are always really light on the flavor, you know? Like, blueberry cereal will always be less blueberry than a blueberry candy. They just go light on the flavor.
Right.
I don't know why, because I understand it's supposed to be breakfast, it's supposed to be healthy, so you can't sugar it up. But why not flavor it up, you know?
It's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
It reminds me of something.
Do you taste... I'm actually, for the...
Oh, it reminds me of Crunch Berries.
It is kind of just Crunch Berries as marshmallows, like...
But a little bit more berry-y. Blueberry-y.
I did get a real legit... a blueberry note. Like, for a second I thought I tasted an actual blueberry.
Yeah. No, there's definitely a blueberry note. But as I was chewing it, I'm trying to be like, what's a grain cereal that reminds me of this? And it must be Crunch Berries.
Mostly Crunch Berries. That was just one bite where I got the blueberry note, and now it's gone. Now it just tastes berry cereal. It's your typical berry cereal flavor. So I'm gonna dump some liquid on mine. Some of our fake milk here.
Trader Joe's soy beverage, unsweetened.
Yeah.
Not soy milk, soy beverage.
Everyone has their personal preference.
So when you tried it for the first time, did it live up to your expectations?
The expectations were very high. I was hoping it would be more blue, rather than kind of like a purplish gray. And of course, I was hoping for the blueberry flavor to be extremely blueberry. But
I don't know. I don't feel like it needs to be stronger in flavor.
you know what? It is its own thing, and it comes out once a year to let you know that it's Halloween. It's a tradition. You can't criticize tradition.
No.
You can't. You know, once something becomes a classic, that's just the way it is.
Every year, around this time, we eat Boo Berry.
From now on, we do.
And this could be your holiday tradition as well.
A Frankenberry or Count Chocula or whatever.
Yeah, whatever floats your boat.
Get all three. They're only $2.50 a box.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cheap for cereal.
Yeah, they're marked down. I'm really worried about the future of these cereals because they're not really making money. It seems like the shelf space shrinks like every Halloween. This year they weren't even in the Halloween section. They were on a what do you call those? End shelf.
End cap.
End cap. It was on an end cap, not just any end cap. It was on a checkout end cap. You know, where they have like the refrigerated bottles of Coke and Sprite.
Okay, I just realized that and they're not kibbles, but the kibbles are shaped like little ghosts.
Yeah.
I don't know why it took me so long.
Boo Berry is a ghost.
Yes.
But believe it or not, Count Chocula and Frankenberry have the same shape kibbles, so they also have ghosts.
That's confusing. It's like a Pac-Man ghost.
It is like a Pac-Man ghost. It could also be interpreted as a skull, though.
Did Pac-Man ever have its own cereal?
It did. A lot of 80s video games had their own cereal. Donkey Kong, Super Mario, Zelda. Zelda and Mario actually shared a box together. It was like a nerd's box. It was like Mario cereal on this side, Zelda cereal on that side. I believe, and I could be wrong.
Correct us.
If I'm wrong. Oh yeah, we have to do a flavor correction. I almost forgot. We should have done that at the beginning of the episode. Flavor correction. In the candy corn popcorn episode, I said that Coca-Cola made a holiday spice flavor, but many of our listeners correctly pointed out that it was Pepsi who made that product. So, mea flavor culpa.
And while we're at it, a flavor correction for the Dr. Seltzer flavor episode. Mm-hmm. 7-Up did not have heroin in it. It had lithium.
Lithium, of course.
Lithium, which is more interesting in my opinion.
There's a little bit of lithium that occurs in a lot of natural spring waters. It's and it causes little bubbles to occur naturally.
It's a salt.
Lithium gas.
All right, drinking the milk now. I mean, I just got to say, this is solid sugar cereal.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not blown away, but I'm enjoying it thoroughly.
I don't get the people who would drive 2,000 miles for it, but you know, nostalgia can be a powerful thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm getting nostalgic here because I remember the first time I had this. I even ate it out of my special cereal bowl, which I mailed away from It was a Kellogg's bowl, which is kind of funny because this is a General Mills cereal, but I still have it actually. It's a mail away Kellogg's cereal bowl and had the Rice Krispies guys on it. It had the Trix Rabbit on it. It had all those guys on it. And it's all super colorful, and it was very celebratory. Get my special bowl, try Boo Berry for the first time, and now you're a part of the club.
Yeah.
It's part of the cult. It really does have a cult following. They sell board games, toys. They sell more merch than they do cereal at this point.
Well, maybe they just have to keep the cereal going, even though it's like a loss leader. They're losing money on the cereal, but they're making money on the merch.
Yeah, and the fans are really keeping it alive. There's no way they would still be making it if it weren't for the fans.
The fans are keeping Boo Berry alive. Because he's dead already.
And they're keeping the spirit alive.
The literal spirit.
Keep the spirit of Boo Berry alive. And if they ever stop, they'll never be allowed to stop making Boo Berry because people will get too angry. Or any of the monster cereals.
Maybe we should have had a Boo Berry seance. Next year?
Next year.
We'll do a Boo Berry seance. What if we did a Boo Berry episode every year? I mean, that sounds like a bad idea, but maybe it could be a good idea.
It could be, yeah.
We put a real big twist on it every time.
We could do Frankenberry next year. I don't know. Hopefully they bring back Fruit Brute and Yummy Mummy. I would like that. Imagine an orange version of this or a cherry version of this. It was very exciting stuff.
Well, I think that about covers Boo Berry.
That about covers Boo Berry. Any closing thoughts?
No, it was good. I liked it. If you like Lucky Charms, if you like Crunch Berries, you'll like this cereal.
Yeah, it's very wholesome. It's a part of a complete breakfast and all that.
Okay.
That concludes our episode. We'd like to dedicate this episode to Roger Barr of iMockery for so many years of Halloween fun and keeping the Boo Berry dream alive. I know you're going on a difficult journey right now, and we wish you safe returns. And we look forward to many more happy years of iMockery in the future.
Thank you.
Thank you, Flavor Heads, for listening. Thank you, General Mills, for making these cereals. Flavor out.
Flavor out.
Flavor out.
This concludes part 3 of the Flavorcast October Halloween Spooktacular.
Congratulations. If you're hearing my voice, that means you've survived part 3. Hit that subscribe button to hear the rest of the Halloween episodes. That is, if you're not too scared. And since you've lived to tell the tale, why not do it in a review? It helps more victims, listeners, find the show. Follow us on Twitter at Flavorcast for more spooktacular action. We promise we won't bite hard. And leave us a message at a totally not cursed speakpipe.com/flavorcast, even if it's your last. And what's that, Globby?
Tell all your friends.
Yes, tell all your friends.
I would, do you want it?
I'll take it. Yeah, if you don't want it, I will happily take it. I'm just, but.
But you're trying to not eat as much sugar.
No, I love Boo Berry.
Okay.
And, you just you pour yourself some Cheerios, you sprinkle a little Boo Berry on, it's Boo Berry light.
Okay, I'm going to ask you to take it, but I might have a bowl before.
Just have a bowl and pack the bowl, if you're sure, but you're sure about this, you could just have tiny amounts.
No.
Yeah, because you got your teeth. Your teeth have been going through, but you got a permanent crown.
I got a permanent crown. I'm chewing on my tooth.